Hello, everybody. The invisible command that holds reality. The invisible commands that hold the reality surrounding us, within us, outside us, right to us, left to us, everywhere in the universe, there is a set of invisible commands. And these commands are acting, they are persistent, they are accurate, they are precise, and they seem to be there always. So, what if I told you? What if I told you that the universe, the cosmos, is not held, it's not held together by the matter that we see, that we observe, that we realize, not by stars, not by atoms, molecules, not even by space and time. The argument is, what if I told you that everything you have ever seen, everything you have ever observed, everything you have observed, every motion, every structure, in everything we have that moment of stability. And the moment of stability is the result of invisible commands that cannot be seen, that cannot be touched, that cannot be felt or broken. I am Arfat Firdaus, and today I want to take you beneath what appears, beneath the appearances, beneath equations. Equations are symbols to the deeper reality, to the deeper truth they represent. So, because science, and here in particular physics, at its deepest level, is not a story of things. You are not realizing the story of things. It is a story of obedience. And this story I'm going to share with you within the framework of these invisible commands. And if I told you, what if I told you that the universe, the universe would collapse into a complete silence if it forgets attraction. And if the attraction forgot its instructions for even a fraction of a second. What am I trying to tell is, if I talk about the gravity, gravity is written as F equals gm1 m2 by r squared. This is universal law of gravitation. But don't rush in realizing this equation. This equation does not, it does not merely say that between the masses attract, their attraction, the force of attraction depends on their masses, it depends on the separation between the masses. It basically dictates how strongly, how far, and how reliably they must do so in order to have that balance, the balance that we see. Now, say, for example, take Earth as an example. Earth and Sun, say for the sake of argument, we have Earth and we have Sun. And both of these bodies have enormous masses. They are separated by nearly 1.5 times 10 to the power of 11 meters. And at that large distance, what they do, they generate exactly the force that is required. That's required for the stable path of their planet. This is strange. This is beautiful, but this is precise. This is stunning. It's brainstorming. The planet does not go into the straight line, nor it collapses into the sun. There is no escape possible for the planet. Now, if the constant that you see in this equation, the gravitational constant, 6.674 times 10 to the power of 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square, if this number is slightly large, the stars would burn out. They would burn out rapidly and collapse. You see the power of this number, and this number is dictated by the universe itself. And if at the same point of time it were slightly smaller matter, slightly smaller, they would never be able to form a binary system, assuming that the other planets are absent. So this equation is directly commanding. This equation commands the balance. It commands the balance across, not across the planet Earth and Sun, it commands the balance across the whole universe. Gravity is not something where you can negotiate, like selling an object in a market where you are negotiating. No, it simply obeys. It has to obey it exactly, precise, accurate. Now, let's go into another important constant. The constant that we have, the speed of light. So what if I told you that reality enforces a universal speed limit? And nothing absolutely, nothing is allowed to violate it. That means if the light will violate it, it will not remain light. So that command, it's a command. It's a command coming from a fundamental reality. There may be different interpretations of that reality, but that's not my point. My point is the scientific argument here. The speed of light, 3 times 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Now light from the sun, it takes nearly 8 minutes to reach the planet Earth. Okay, on an average, if I take an approximate value, it will always take this much of time to reach us. Always, always, always. This Constancy is not, it's not convenience basically. It is the survival. The light can survive if it can make this journey in 8 minutes. Only then it is light. Because if light could travel faster or it could travel slower, depending on the conditions, the thing that I was talking about, the gravitational constants, cause and effect, these two important things are going to collapse. You have a different kind of assumptional world where you can go back. Time would lose the order. Communication, the personal communication of the universe across the universe, would become meaningless. There will be chaos. There will be no communication. This single constant, this single command, what it does basically, it protects. This command protects the structure of the reality itself. This is the command of that fundamental reality, that you have to be like this. You cannot be anything other than this. Even space bows to this constant. It bows down. It bows down to this limit of the speed that's given, the command that's given to the photons, that's given to the electromagnetic waves. Now, what if I told you that the solidity of your body, my body, solids, shape, the solidity of your body depends on a force which is nearly 10 to the power of 36 times stronger than that of the gravity at the atomic scales. It's a very huge number. And here you have an instruction. That instruction is written as the very famous Coulomb's law. The force of attraction or repulsion between the 2-point charges is K times Q1 Q2 by R squared, where this K has a value 8.99 times 10 to the power of 9 in the free space. Now, inside every atom, what we have, electrons, and these electrons are held together. They are held together near the positive charge, the nucleus, the core of an atom, where the complete mass of an atom is concentrated. This attraction is powerful. This attraction is amazing. This attraction is perfectly regulated between the electron and the nucleus. Now, if you assume something too weak between them, the atoms that we have, they will spontaneously dissolve into the elementary particles. And if this force is too strong, the matter is going to collapse. The atoms will collapse. So when atoms collapse, your bones, your breath, your heartbeat, they all exist because this command is obeyed. This command is obeyed with surprising, with astonishing precision, astonishing accuracy. Matter is not solid by a chance. It's not solid by a chance. It is stabilized by this invisible authority, the invisible force, the invisible balance between the electron and the nucleus of an atom. Now, going back to another important invisible command. And what's that? What if I told you? What if I told you that stars are prevented? They are basically prevented from destroying. They're prevented from collapsing themselves by a single mathematical equation. I may call it a mathematical command, an invisible command. And that command is, that command is the very famous Einstein's equation between energy, mass, and the speed of the particle or energy. Now, this energy equation, it works in the sun. A tiny fraction of mass, about 4 million tons per second, is converted into energy here. You can imagine, and that sounds catastrophic. That sounds mind-boggling. That sounds crazy. But the equation that I talked about, the equation of Albert Einstein, it restrains the process. It restrains, it controls, it ensures energy is released. And it is released gradually. It's released steadily for billions of years. Now, without this command, stars would either collapse or they will explode. They might convert into the black holes, or they can have any other kind of fate. Instantly, or the stars may never shine at all. So this equation governs. It does not govern the running of a star. It governs the restraint that's important for the star to emit the energy for a long time. It turns raw power into the sustained light. An invisible command. Accurately, precisely. And then, what about the motion? What if I told you that motion is never free? It's never arbitrary. Never, ever. It's never unaccounted for. This is an important argument. And that rule, that formalism, the very basic rule of classical physics, Newton's second law, force is a product of mass and acceleration. Now push slightly and motion changes slightly. It's not like that you are pushing slightly and things are happening extremely. You push harder and the motion responds more. So there is a relation, a direct relation between the motion and the force. Now, whether it is a spacecraft leaving the planet, a spacecraft leaving the planet Earth, or a grain of dust moving in air, floating in air, motion must answer proportionally. It must answer proportionally. You are applying the force, and force must proportionally exert the motion. So the universe demands fairness in motion. You cannot apply small force and you will have tremendous out of it. No, nothing accelerates without paying the price. You have to pay the price for acceleration. You have to burn the fuel of your motor, a car, a rocket. You can achieve motion out of it. Now, if I go into the regime of uncertainty, what if I told you that reality itself refuses to reveal? It refuses to reveal everything at once. We are boiling down from classical physics to quantum mechanical physics. I'm talking about the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, that even nature protects its secrets, its mysteries, its knowledge. And that command is the product of uncertainty in the measurement of position along x and uncertainty along the measurement of momentum along x is always greater than a number, what's called as h bar by 2. This is not an experimental failure. This is enforcement. The universe is enforcing this reality where it prevents us to understand everything. It prevents particles from being frozen into collapse. It prevents electron from being frozen into the nucleus. It keeps atoms alive with the motion, even if the temperature goes to absolute zero. It preserves the dynamism. It preserves the action at the smallest scales, the scales of atoms, molecules, the scales of electrons, protons, and neutrons. This uncertainty principle is not a chaos. No, it's not a chaos. It's a controlled freedom that's permitted by the rule, that's permitted by a fundamental reality, that's permitted by what we cannot realize. But we can see the signatures of that reality in terms of these constants, in terms of these equations. And these equations, the constants have to be precise. And note something extraordinary that I'm trying to cross, that I'm trying to cross. These commands are not material. It's not like a materialistic kind of thing. No, they don't seem to have material linked with them. They have no mass. They occupy no space. And yet, matter cannot escape. Matter cannot escape them. Matter is executing all that's being commanded. They existed before structure. They existed before structures. They will remain even if structures disappear. They're gone. They're gone. They're gone. As Arfat Firdaus, I say this. I say this. I say this carefully. I say this humbly. I say this carefully and humbly. Physics does not remove mystery. It's not like you are doing physics and you are removing the mystery. What it does basically is it reveals the discipline. It reveals the discipline beneath that mystery. A discipline, a balance, a formalism, a cohesion, something that's very whispering. So, the next time you look at the universe, when you look at the universe next time, do not only see the stars, these glittering point particles in the sky. Do not only see the equations that are written in the books, the equations that have been discovered. You see the obedience. See the obedience written across. For us, it is infinity basically. Obedience written across infinity. And see reality held together, not by force, but by unbreakable commands, unbroken commands. The commands that I was talking about, the commands that never speak, the commands that never translate, the commands that never change, as long as over scales of time, the scales that can be imagined, commands that never fail in the universe. These are the invisible commands that are acting, they are precise, and the universe is obeying. And perhaps the deepest lesson of all is this: the deepest understanding. The universe is powerful, but it's not reckless. It's not random. It is vast. It's huge, but not careless. It's not careless. It's complex. It's very complicated. It has complex molecules, complex galaxies, whatever complex is there, but universe is not confused. It is governed. And those invisible commands, the commands that I was talking about, those commands are what truly hold reality. What truly hold reality together, at least in our framework of realization. And that's my intuition. I thank you all. I hope you like it. Bye.